welcome to Conversations with Me. Today we tackle the issue of gender-based violence, another pandemic that is killing our sisters, our children, our parents, our fathers, and it continues going on each and every single day. It doesn't stop. Every day we wake up to a different story of a woman who was butchered and thrown at a dump site, a woman who was raped, a woman who was killed, a woman who was beaten by her partner. When will this end? Will I be next? Today I'm joined by Pretty Pakati to share her story with us.
Thank you for having me.
Can you please introduce yourself to the viewers at home?
My name is Pretty Pakati. I'm 22 years of age, and I'm currently studying at UNISA and working at the same time.
Thank you. I think you've got a story that you would like to share with the viewers at home.
Yes.
Can you please tell us what happened?
Okay, so my story starts in 2018. Before I started working, I started job hunting, and then I went to this other hotel in Bedfordview, the Nickel Hotel. I wanted to go and drop off my CV there. And then when I got there, the securities directed me to the reception of the hotel where I could drop off my CV. So then I went in and I left my CV, then I left.
Okay.
As I was going out, the same security that had directed me to the reception was like, I should leave my numbers with him, and then should he hear anything that would come up, like a job opportunity, he would let me know.
Okay.
And then in my head I was like, okay, this guy looks like a family man. Yeah, he's a husband, he probably has his own kids.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, cool. And then at that time, okay, he never contacted me up until 2020 last year. Then when he contacted me, he told me that there was a warehouse in town where he used to work as a security. They're looking for a receptionist.
Okay.
So then he's like, he would accompany me to that warehouse so I could go drop off my CV and speak to them.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, why not? I guess that was the biggest mistake. And then we met in town, and then we took a taxi to that place. Before we got there, by the warehouses, he's like, okay, we're gonna walk this other way towards a railway. I didn't know there was a railway on the other side. So then when we approached the railway, that's when he grabbed my jacket, and then he took out his knife, and then he was like, don't make a noise. If you make a noise, I'll kill you.
Sure.
Okay, and then he's like, give me your phone, give me your bag and everything. And I'm like, okay. And then I just gave it to him because I know you're not supposed to find someone who wants to rob you.
Yeah.
So I gave him everything. Then after that, here's this guy. He's now dragging me across the railway. And then I tried to fight him off, but then I failed. Then when we got across the railway, we started, like, I tried to fight him still, because I could see where it was leading to. Yeah. So he got me onto the ground, and then that's when he managed to rip my t-shirt. Then luckily I was wearing tight jeans on that day, and then as he was trying to open my jeans, that's when I held onto his knife and I pushed him. But then luckily he fell off. Then as soon as he fell off, that's when I ran away. And till this day I guess I thank God that he didn't get to rape me, because that's where it was leading to. And then I got to these ladies that were selling plates in front of the warehouse. That's when I realized that the palm of my hand was open. Yeah, that's when they called the police, and then the police took me to the hospital.
Okay, I'm so sorry for that unfortunate event, but like you said, we thank God got to a stage where he raped you or anything to that degree. So when the police came and they took you to the hospital, did you manage to get the justice that you deserve?
Okay, when the police got there, we went back to the place where he wanted to do what he wanted to do, and then we found him not there. And then they told me to, when they took me to the hospital, and then they told me to come back to the police station to open a case against the guy. So then when I was in hospital, I was like, anyway, where are they going to find this guy?
Yeah.
I mean, a random guy. And he wasn't working at that hotel anymore, so they weren't going to be able to go and retrieve his details or anything like that. So then that's when I was just like, let me just let this one go and forget about him. So I never really opened the case.
Alright, and how has the whole incident affected you?
There are times where I would be sitting at home and then I have flashbacks of that day. It scares me when I think of what if he had done that. I guess that's how it affected me, because I always think, what if it had happened, and then it just scares me a little bit. And to a point where I'm scared to be in one room alone with a guy. I can't, ever since that time, I can't. Because I remember there was a time I visited my guy cousin. He wanted to give me a gift that he wanted to give his friend, but he couldn't get a hold of the friend. So I went to his place and we were alone. He's my cousin, so I shouldn't be scared. But then I had that mentality that he's a guy.
And you are right. Usually that's what happened to a lot of survivors. You start getting scared of your father, your brothers, your uncle, a friend that you wouldn't normally be scared of. And I mean, what kind of a life is that? We shouldn't be going through that. We should be living our lives freely. But we're in a situation where you question every male who is out there because of all these experiences that we go through on a daily basis and all the stories that we hear on a daily basis. And have you tried to find help from maybe a therapist or?
Yeah, I was supposed to go, because the hospital I went to, they told me to come back for therapy, but then at that time I was like, I didn't feel like talking about it. But I guess I should have. Maybe if I did, I wouldn't have such flashbacks and, you know. And also something that I learned is, I mean, when you watch the news and you hear of someone being raped, before this happened to me, I didn't really understand what a rape victim goes through until it actually almost happened to me. Like I truly understood the pain and understood that why some of them actually even kill themselves.
It's just way too much to take in, definitely. And it leaves a scar, an internal scar. I know you can still continue living and people call you paranoid because you're scared to do the normal things that you would do. But at the end of the day, nobody can ever understand the pain that the victim goes through. Nobody can ever understand the intensity that the scar they live with the victim. So we need to do better as men out there. We need to take care of our sisters. We need to look after our sisters. We shouldn't be the ones who are victimizing our sisters. I mean, in your case, like you mentioned earlier on, that when you looked at him, he looked like a father figure. We don't expect such from father figures, from family men. We expect such things from people who wouldn't know what it feels like to have a child, to have a daughter. Because we look up to these men who are way much older, we believe that they know better. So I'm truly, truly sorry about your unfortunate event. And I would ask you that you go out there and you seek help, speak to someone, anyone who you feel you'll be much more comfortable with speaking to. And you know, maybe that will help you and ease down on the flashbacks. I know it's something that you can't forget about. We're definitely not going to reach that stage, unfortunately, because it is a scar that will always be there forever and ever. But I'm glad that you've managed to move on with your life. And it is very unfortunate that the people that we trust are the ones who actually put us in such situations. So what advice can you give any other woman, young woman who is out there?
Okay, in terms of my situation, I would say don't just trust anybody. I made the mistake of trusting someone who I thought, you know, wouldn't do what he did. So my advice would be don't just trust anybody.
And has your family been supportive throughout the whole situation?
Yeah, they were very supportive, yeah.
Okay.
They were.
And do you take any other steps towards finding healing? As you mentioned on that you've never really went for therapy, but is there anything else that you did towards finding healing for yourself?
For me, finding healing is through music.
Okay.
Listening to music.
Yeah.
Yeah, it helps me forget certain things. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you have got something that keeps you busy, and it definitely helps you to forget.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Having the courage to come through and share your story with us and share your story with the world. You've given someone else hope that even though they've went through a similar experience, they can be better, and there is help out there. And the advice that you give, I know it shouldn't be like this. We shouldn't be at a point where we cannot trust the people that we live on a daily basis. But this is the South Africa that we are living in. As a woman in South Africa, you have to be scared. As a woman in South Africa, you can't trust the man who is next to you, because we're faced with this pandemic. And it's up to the men in our lives, it's up to the government, it's up to the companies that are out there to try and resolve this situation. We cannot do it on our own, but we can take the first steps. As victims of gender-based violence, let us speak up, let us seek help. There are different companies out there, there are different organizations that are willing to help. We've got POWA, People Opposing Women Abuse, we've got TEARS, and so many more other different companies and different organizations that are willing to help us out for free. Let's take the first step towards healing and speak up. Hashtag I speak up. Hashtag no to gender-based violence. If you would like to share your story with us, WhatsApp 062 101 6563 and give other people hope. Thank you for joining us today. Until next time. Bye-bye.